Heading into week 2, there is a whole lot of overreaction going on, so I'm going to weed through it for you. Let's hit the intro.
Perfect.
Heading into week 2, we're talking about the overreactions, and I'm going to break down what I'm buying into, what I'm selling, and what I'm maybe holding off on for the time being. One of the first big narratives that I've seen this entire week is that Saquon Barkley is back and that he is a top 5 fantasy running back once again. And in terms of fantasy football, a 33-point week 1 against the Tennessee Titans is pretty inspiring. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that's not a bad place to start off your season. However, given the last year and a half, basically the last 2 seasons of what we've seen out of the New York Giants, and there's a lot of new faces, there's a lot of new systems in place, I think it's a little early to be putting all of our chips into the Saquon Barkley basket. I think I'm kind of selling on this for the moment. I'm not exactly buying in on Saquon Barkley quite yet as far as fantasy football is concerned. These are still the New York Giants. The quarterback situation is still kind of up in the air and on the hot seat this upcoming season with Daniel Jones. But in terms of Saquon Barkley, the offensive line, I want to see it through at least a few weeks before I full stock say Saquon Barkley is absolutely that guy this upcoming season. His knees are going to hold up on over 200 attempts, running the ball, catching the ball, etc. When he is healthy, we got to see it. Saquon Barkley is an absolutely electric force on the football field, but I'm going to hold my horses a little bit on the Saquon Barkley train, just a little bit of a reality check here. Another overreaction, Allen Robinson and the Los Angeles Rams are washed. They're done. I'm selling that. I'm not buying into that in the slightest. I'm not going into this hype train of the Los Angeles Rams are no longer contenders. Their week 1 opponent is against the Super Bowl favorite Buffalo Bills, and they got absolutely squashed. Their offense did not look up to par to what we saw out of them last season. Absolutely. Allen Robinson with only 1 catch the entire game, 2.2 fantasy points in PPR formats. Not a great sell. I completely understand it, but I'm not selling the Los Angeles Rams quite yet this upcoming, for the rest of the season, excuse me. I think the Los Angeles Rams have a lot to work through. They're going to have a new offensive coordinator calling plays. Matthew Stafford has to get used to a few of these new weapons. Cam Akers obviously not really there yet. Darrell Henderson, the lead back right now. Cooper Kupp, of course, going to be the leading wide receiver. But I'm not out on Allen Robinson. I'm not out on the Los Angeles Rams so far. I don't think this is just a Cooper Kupp attack. I think the Los Angeles Rams this week are going to be coming into week 2 with a lot more focus, and especially against the Atlanta Falcons defense that is already one of the bottom 5 units against the pass so far this year. I think the Los Angeles Rams are going to open up the offense a lot more. They're going to be trying more things. They're going to be getting the ball to guys that they obviously didn't last week. Is Ezekiel Elliot done? Is he gonzo? Is he over the hill? I think I'm going to buy into that this upcoming season. After Dak Prescott getting hurt in week 1, and obviously a successful hand surgery means he could very well see the field again week 9, I think that's going to put the season a little bit out of reach for the Dallas Cowboys just in general, but this offense is going to be a lot more limited. The ceiling's going to be a lot lower with Dak Prescott sidelined for at least half of the season, and that's going to mean the potential of Ezekiel Elliott is also going to be limited. I think this might be the year he's going to miss that 1,000-yard mark after just narrowly scraping over it last year. Tony Pollard's going to be a lot more involved in the offense. We're going to see a lot more 2-back sets within this offense this year. Kellen Moore's going to have to scramble quite a bit to make things copacetic, but I think Ezekiel Elliott, at least as far as fantasy terms are considered, I think he's done. He's not a guy that I'm considering as a full-fledged starter this upcoming season. Maybe risk him at a flex spot, but if you're in PPR formats, I think there's just other receivers and there's other players that you can rely on for the rest of this season. I just don't know that I can invest a full season into Ezekiel Elliott, at least in fantasy football terms. I just can't quite do it. Ezekiel Elliott is in a very limited offense, limited quarterback situation, and honestly, I just don't know that this is going to be quite the year for Ezekiel Elliott to really just keep proving the doubters wrong. And the Green Bay Packers are a no-go. Keep your hands off of them. I'm going to hold off on this one. I think it's still a little too early to tell. Obviously, week one in a passing attack that was going to be very limited. We knew this going into week one. This is going to be a lot of growing pains for Aaron Rodgers and this receiving core. Allen Lazard also not seeing the field meant that Aaron Rodgers really didn't have any familiar faces within the primary levels of passing attack in week one. Now, I'm not necessarily giving a lot of excuses here. You have an entire offseason, training camps, etc. to get that familiarity down, but the receiving core has obviously had a lot of struggles throughout camps, preseason, etc. Aaron Rodgers obviously very frustrated in week one. I think the limitations are there for this offense until these guys, become a lot more accustomed to NFL speed, NFL, level of play. The running backs are going to be a lot more involved in the offense. So if you've got A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, I think these guys are going to be easy starts for fantasy for at least the next few weeks. And last year, we saw the Green Bay Packers offense get absolutely torched by the New Orleans Saints. And, the media was overhyping in a sense that the Green Bay Packers were going to be awful, that this was the cliff for Aaron Rodgers, and he ended up winning the MVP. So Aaron Rodgers, his ability to elevate talent, I think it's still there. However, there's going to be a lot of growing pains this season, and without Devontae Adams, without guys like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I think the offense is going to just generally be a lot more limited. It might not have that breakout potential like we saw last year. Moving on to our fantasy players of the week. And going into this week, I've got a couple of wide receivers and a running back that I'm spotlighting. First up, I mentioned him near the beginning of the video. It's going to be Allen Robinson of the Los Angeles Rams. Now, Cooper Kupp's going to be shouted a lot by A.J. Terrell for the Atlanta Falcons this week, which I think really is going to open up Sean McVay and the offense to going to some of their other options and trying to get guys like Allen Robinson more involved. Last week, obviously, a stinker of a performance for week one, but if there's going to be any reprieve and start to work into the offense for this upcoming season, week two, it might very well just be here just like that. I think Allen Robinson's in store for a big week. He should very well be a consideration for starting this week. And if you aren't starting Michael Pittman, I think you're kind of crazy, but last week, posting numbers of 9 catches, a touchdown, and 120 receiving yards in that tie against the Texans, Michael Pittman is absolutely the #1 receiver for Matt Ryan. I think they're going to be leaning on him heavily this upcoming season, and against another bottom tier defensive unit, I think Michael Pittman against the Jaguars is going to be a huge splash this week. I'm locking it in. Michael Pittman to have a huge week. And finally, DeAndre Swift, the running back for the Detroit Lions, taking on the Washington Commanders. I think we can expect DeAndre Swift to have a very similar level of production this week. However, I think he's going to find the end zone at least maybe 1, maybe even 2 times. We've seen this Detroit Lions offense. It has the capability to move the ball up and down the field with a sense of urgency. I think they're going to start trying to finish off some more of these drives in the near future. I think DeAndre Swift is going to be a heavy part of that. He's obviously already a major part of the Detroit Lions offense. I'm booking it. DeAndre Swift to have a huge week 2 against the Commanders. In the final segment of the video, I'm running through my picks. Starting things off, Thursday night football. It's going to be Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Book it. Thursday night football in store for a major upset. I'm taking the Los Angeles Chargers on the road in Arrowhead. They have not been scared. They have not been daunted in the past. I'm taking the upset. I'm taking the Chargers, even after Kansas City had a huge week 1. The Sunday slate, we're going to keep things moving. The New York Jets taking on the Cleveland Browns. Give me the Browns. Better coaching across the board. Washington versus the Detroit Lions. This is going to be another close matchup, but give me the Washington Commanders. And then Tampa Bay versus the New Orleans Saints. I think overall, give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just going to be a little bit better on the offensive side of things come week 2. And then Carolina Panthers taking on the New York Giants. Give me the Carolina Panthers in another close one. I don't know that Dable's going to be able to sneak a missed field goal across this time. And the New England Patriots going into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Give me the Steelers in a big, big win over the New England Patriots, who aren't going to have the offensive capability to keep up. And then the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Indianapolis is not looking for ties, people. They're looking for wins. I think the Colts are going to get their win here. And then you've got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's just got a lot more chemistry, better coaching at the moment, a lot more veteran leadership. Give me the Ravens in this one. Atlanta Falcons taking on the Los Angeles Rams. You have a high-powered potential offense versus a bad secondary. Give me the Los Angeles Rams. And you have the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers, another division matchup this week. Give me the San Francisco 49ers and a squeaker. And the Cincinnati Bengals going into Dallas to take on the Cowboys. One offense is going to be limited, the other one probably not. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals in that one. Houston Texans going into Denver to take on the Broncos. Give me the Denver Broncos with a huge rebound win in week 2. Arizona Cardinals taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. This one's going to be another close offensive matchup. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders in this one, though. Sunday Night Football, Chicago Bears taking on the Green Bay Packers. Give me the Green Bay Packers, but it's probably not going to be as decisive as I think people are hoping. Monday Night Football, 2 matchups. Tennessee Titans taking on the Buffalo Bills. This one's going to be interesting, but give me the Buffalo Bills and a matchup that, again, might very well be a little bit closer than we're expecting. And the final matchup of the week, Minnesota Vikings taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me the Minnesota Vikings getting wins back-to-back. Another offensive shootout in this one. And that's all I got for you this week. Thank you so much for watching the video. Obviously, the background's changing a little bit. I'm waiting on a couple of things. I think it's going to look pretty nice when it's all said and done. We're going to fill in this space right over here. I'm really excited for it. Next week, you're going to see what I'm talking about. But again, thank you so much for watching the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and of course, get the bell on to know every single time I'm dropping a video. My name is Tristan Blake Rines. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Adios.